Hello there. Quick question for you. Are you creating videos, but you're just not seeing engagement? Like engagement, I mean by like getting shares and comments and likes and views on your videos. This is kind of a common problem that people often ask me about. I'm making videos, but they're just not doing anything. No one's interacting. I'm not getting any business from them. So if that's going to be you, then I'm going to tell you about what it is you could be doing wrong and how to fix it. Now, just quickly, I'm Francesca from Get Ahead Media, and I help solopreneurs and solo business owners to reach more of their customers using videos they easily create themselves. And so what I'm going to talk about today, like I said, is about engagement and how to get better engagement on your videos. Now, engagement is important because basically if you're not engaging the people you're trying to talk to, then they're not going to come from strangers into fans, into buyers. You're not going to be actually impacting people. And the other thing is, depending on what kind of social media network you're on, engagement is actually a really important algorithm, especially in Facebook. That the better engagement you get on your videos, the wider reach Facebook is going to give you. So I'm going to go through the 5 things you could be doing wrong and how to fix them so that you can get more engagement on your videos, actually reach the people you need to talk to so that you can turn them into your loyal fans and customers. So just before we get started, I just want to ask you a quick question. Ask you to basically quickly share. I got to think of words. I want you to, if you know someone who needs to make better videos or needs to start making videos or improve their videos, then please share this broadcast with your friends, peers, colleagues, so we can get started. Even if you're on the replay, please go ahead and share this broadcast so I can help more people, so that more people can know about how to best use video for their business. And just so you know, this is a no promo video. I'm not promoting anything. I'm not going to try and sell to you at the end of it. It's literally just, I'm going to give you some cool tips that you can go away and implement, and then see actual success in the videos that you're making. Okay, so let's get right to it, onto the good stuff. I'm just looking at my notes down here just to make sure I don't miss anything. So if you see my eyes go down, that's what that is. Now, what it could be is, firstly, maybe you're getting, like I said, 10 views, or maybe you're getting stacks of 3-second views, but that's it. They stay for 3 seconds and then people disappear. And what you could be doing wrong is you're not actually speaking to your audience. So let me just put that up on the screen. What you need to do, you need to know who your audience is. So this took me a really long time to try and get my head around. When I started in online business, I'm like, well, I can teach business owners, online business owners. And that's a really wide array of people. But what you want to do is you actually want to get it more defined than that. You don't just want to be, I cater to everyone who's online. Because then what's going to happen is you're going to give really generic statements that don't actually talk to people. So if I say to someone, I work with everyone who has a business online. Well, a person might go, well, that might be me, but what else does she have to say? Whereas if I say I'm working specifically with coaches who want to make an impact in people's lives, I'm going to teach them to do this. Then those coaches that you're talking to are going to go, oh, she or he is talking to me. Great, I'm going to listen. Whereas if you're making those generic statements, you don't know who your audience is, you think, oh, they're everyone, then you're just not going to be talking and connecting with the right kind of people. So you need to figure out your audience. It's the first place to start. It's a hard place to start, but you need to think about things like, not just say you're talking to mums. What kind of mums? Are they first-time mums? Are they stay-at-home mums that are trying to do a side business? Are they, mums that are a sole income earner that need to support the family? Like, what is it about them? You need to actually define who your audience is. So that's the first step. Know your audience before you start making your video. Okay, so on to tip number 2, which I'm going to bring up on the screen for you, which is you're posting at the wrong time. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to post when your audience is online. So once again, coming back to that, who is your audience? When are they likely to be online? Because what happens, and you'll notice it too on your social media feeds or timelines, that you're flicking through and there's a whole bunch of stuff to look at, and you only get so far down. Well, if you've posted a video and maybe it's a couple of hours before your audience actually gets online, chances are it's way at the bottom of their news feed there, and they're not going to see it. Whereas if you pick a time when your audience is most likely to be online and engaging with content, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, Instagram, wherever it is, and you're more likely to catch their eye when they're flicking through that news feed. Okay? So, once again, what I can say is that if you're on Facebook, you actually have a really powerful tool for you on your Facebook business page. And that is your Insights little section up the top. So if you go to your Facebook business site, there's a place that says Insights, and on the left it says Posts. And you can see when your posts are getting the most engagement. So you can see exactly what time during the day or what time sort of averaging over the week that people are engaging with your content. And that's the time you want to try and choose to post your video so people actually see it. Now, if you're just starting out and you haven't got a lot of engagement on your Facebook page and you don't really have those analytics quite set up yet, then that's fine. What you need to do is just try a few things out. Post something in the morning, because the best kind of play times are usually in the morning before work, midday when people are on lunch break, and in the evenings when they finish dinner. So just try out a few things. You know, post in the morning sometime, post in the evening another time, midday. Try some things, see how people are engaging, and then you can go from there. Okay? And there's one more tool I can give you is that CoSchedule have a really great little best times to post across platforms, little handout on their blog, and I'll paste a link to that blog in the description to this video, or in the comments to this video, I should say, after I finish. So you can go and check that out depending on which social media platform you're on. Okay, so now let's get on to the next tip, which will be, let's turn this one off. Okay, so our next tip is that you're not capturing your audience's attention in those first few seconds. So you need to capture it basically in the first 3 seconds. Now, like I said before, when we're talking about when our audience is online, we need to make sure we capture their attention as they're quickly flicking through their timelines, their news feeds. And just checking my notes here. So there's a number of ways that we can actually do this. And I'm actually going to go into detail next week on some tips on how to stop people from scrolling past your content online. And I'm going to go into great detail about that in next week's live video. But for now, what we can do is, what was my one tip I was going to do? Oh, yes, that's right. So one tip to get you started until obviously next week's full in-depth version is using text to basically draw people in. So using bold text that people can clearly see that is something that would draw them in. So once again, it comes to knowing your audience. Maybe your audience is going to be taken in by something that says, "Did you know?" Or that's a really common one. Or something that's a fact that they may not have known, or a question to them. So using that text can draw people in. And then the other thing you can do is use something like a striking image to capture their attention, something that's really beautiful or really something they've never seen before as they're flicking through their news feeds. But like I said, next week's live stream is going to be all about how to stop people from scrolling past your video in their timelines. Now the next thing, and this is kind of a big one and people often overlook it. I'm just going to move this one, out of the way, is tip number 4, and that's you haven't included a call to action. So including a call to action is actually really important, and it's not about tricking people to do something. It's people want to engage with your content, but they don't know what to do next, or they don't know if there's a next step for them. So it might be as simple as, stick around because at the end of this I'm going to give you the answer to such and such. It might be a free opt-in that you're doing. It might be go to your website. It might be as simple as, hey, make sure you click like on my page so that you don't miss any of my future broadcasts. Okay? And it's hard to do this and remember it in a live scenario, but write yourself some notes, at least have a post-it on your video camera that says, call to action is this, and say it throughout your video. Because once you get that engagement, so if you say to someone, oh, comment on this if, this makes sense to you, people are starting to engage with your content. Hey, Tanya, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in there. And so actually, I want to know, on the topic of call to actions, is this resonating with you? I mean, some of you have just come in and some of you have been in for a while in this live stream, but is this, does this make sense to you? Are you including a call to action? Have you forgotten to include a call to action before? I'd love to know your thoughts on this. So the last one that we're going to talk about today is that you haven't optimized for mobile or for silent video. So let me just put that one up so if people are tuning in, they can see what the tip is. So you need to optimize for people watching in silent and for mobile. Once again, this all comes back to my first tip about knowing your audience. So if you know your audience and you know that they're looking on Facebook from their mobile device, then you know that you need to cater to that audience and make sure that it's mobile friendly. Just quickly, Tanya says, call to action is what I've forgotten about. I know it's very hard, especially in a live scenario, and I know I've forgotten a few of mine throughout this, but try and give yourself some notes, and if you're doing a pre-recorded thing, then definitely write out that call to action and put a little post-it somewhere. So it is a tricky thing to remember. But back to optimizing for silent and mobile, actually 50% of videos on Facebook are actually watched in silent. So people are at work or somewhere where they can't have the sound on and they're just watching it in silent. So if your video doesn't have text or explains enough without them having audio, then they're not going to watch it. They're just going to disappear. So you need to optimize your videos for silent, and that's including things like captions or just text for particular points of your video that you need to get across to your audience. And the other thing is catering to that mobile audience. So things like square video and vertical video. So absolutely, vertical video is completely legitimate. You don't have to be in landscape like I am right now. It really depends on if your audience is looking on mobile and what platform you're using. Like Instagram's very big on square. Twitter is portrait for some live stuff and generally landscape. Facebook is all of the above. Square, portrait, or landscape. But square and portrait will do much better on your mobile device. Okay, so let's start recapping, and if anyone has any questions along the way, then please feel free to chime in. I'd love to hear what you say about this, if this is resonating with you, if these are some of the steps that you've overlooked and you're like, yes, thank you, I have the answer. Those of you who are tuning in now, I'm just going to recap for you. So let's just take this off here. So just recapping, our first tip was to know your audience. So important. Essentially, the first starting point in business is to know your audience so you know how to speak to them, what kind of words they're going to want to hear from your video, what's going to draw them in. So knowing your audience is the first tip. Now, those of you out there, do you feel like you know your audience? Do you feel like you've got them really defined to like a really quite a niche market? Let me know in the comments. And then our second tip is to post when your audience is online. So if you're posting hours before your audience actually gets online, chances of them seeing your video to actually engage with it is slim to none, because it's just going to be at the bottom of their newsfeed. And you know what it's like? We only flick so far into our newsfeed and we miss lots of stories, but we don't have all day to spend on there. So make sure you post when your audience is online. And tip number 3, we'll just get rid of 2, is capture your audience's attention in those first 3 seconds. The first 3 seconds, really regardless of what platform you're on, are just so important. And if you haven't got someone, they're not going to watch to 10 seconds. And then if you haven't kept their attention, they're not going to watch further on as well. But capture their attention in the first 3 seconds. Going to do a full post on this next week on my live video, but definitely use some text or striking image in the interim until next week, until I give you some more of those details in your videos. Okay, so tip number 4, we're just recapping for people who are tuning in. Number 4 was include a call to action. So make sure that you tell your audience what to do next, whether it's sign up to my latest opt-in, go to my website for more information. And what I'm going to do is make sure you like my page, because I'm going to do live videos every week with strategies and tips on how you can use video better in your business. You don't want to miss them, okay? Because they're going to be lots of value, no promos. So you should definitely like this page to make sure you stay up to date with those videos. So that's my call to action. Make sure you include one in your videos. And finally, our last tip, we're just recapping, is optimize for silent or mobile. So if you know your audience is flicking through their news feeds on their mobile device, then you want to make sure that video is nice and big for them. So having a square video, like if you look at your phone, you have a square video, a little update there, square video there, it fills up most of your screen. Or if you have a portrait video, it really, captures someone's attention. They can see it quite clearly what's happening. So if you know your audience is on mobile, then definitely cater to that mobile device. For silent, so that's like things like Facebook, when people are happening across your content, include captions. I'm going to do a full post on YouTube, which I'll post on my obviously from Facebook page, a how-to video of how to create captions. But including captions in your video is going to really help those people who are watching it in silent. So I hope this has been really good. Thank you, Mileni. I might have said your name wrong. I'm not very good at names. Thank you so much for tuning in, and that this is helpful. That's really great to hear, because that's what I'm about. I want to help people create better videos. You have the power. So literally, just use your smartphone. It's just about how to use it. And that's what I'm here to do. is teach you how to use your content that you have, whether it's your phone, and how to structure it and how to use it to engage your audience. Tanya says, good to see you here, Tanya. I'm glad this is really helpful. So thanks so much for tuning in. Like I said, I'll be back next week, so make sure you click the big like button on my page so you don't miss that live video all about how to stop people scrolling past your video in their news feeds. Appreciate for those tuning in live and for those who are watching on the replay. Love to have you here. And I'm Francesca Jago, and I will see you next week. Okay, see you later.